Thank you so much for joining me. Tonight, I'm going to be presenting the Optimize Your Health webinar. I am Dr. Kobe Slater. I'm a doctor of natural medicine. I hold a PhD in natural health sciences. I'm a registered nutritionist and a registered medical herbalist. I own a multidisciplinary wellness clinic in Maple Ridge, British Columbia, and I love helping people heal naturally. I'm also a wife and the mother of 2 young boys who both have celiac disease and multiple food allergies. So we are going through life as a family, gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, and nut-free. So I'm really in the trenches with patients who are trying to get healthy. Tonight, I'm going to be helping you to take charge of your health by learning more about how to optimize your nutrition in 3 easy steps, how to eliminate the top digestive symptoms quickly, how to discover your roadblocks to weight loss, how to manage your stress and heal your adrenals, and how to balance your hormones naturally. So let's get started. First thing we're going to talk about is how to optimize your nutrition in 3 easy steps. And I wouldn't be able to help people with the nutrition if I didn't touch on sugar. So the first step in how to optimize your nutrition, of course, is ditch the sugar. This is probably the hardest thing for most people, the biggest issue when it comes to nutrition. Sugar has been implicated in feeding cancers, inflammation, and many chronic disease. Excess sugar consumption has been linked to headaches, anxiety, depression, inflammation, joint pain, mood swings, of course, weight gain, skin conditions, and so much more. So just by conquering this step can actually totally transform your health. The first thing that you want to do is stop adding it to foods. It's estimated that the average North American consumes more than 100 pounds of sugar per year. That is a lot of sugar. So many of us are adding sugar into our coffees, into our teas, into our cereals, or our baking. And many of us are also consuming sugar where we don't even know it exists. So processed packaged foods that are really high in sugar. The thing that you want to stay away from is artificial sweeteners. So these can actually increase your cravings for sugar and carbs. So this is the mistake that some people make when they are going off regular sugar, is that they'll start increasing artificial sweeteners. And some people think that having a Diet Coke once in a while is okay. But the problem with that theory is that artificial sweeteners are actually a cumulative toxin. So what that means is they slowly build up in your system over time. Aspartame has been linked into all sorts of very serious health issues. And they don't even help you when it comes to weight loss. There was a study that was done, and it showed that participants that consumed aspartame in particular had a 500% increase carbohydrate craving 1 hour after consuming the aspartame. So these participants thought that by consuming a diet product that it would help them to lose weight, but actually the opposite happened. 76% of the participants actually craved more carbs because they were consuming artificial sugars. So in addition, they can also deplete the body's stores of chromium, which is a mineral that's very helpful for blood sugar balancing. So there's many better choices than artificial sweeteners. My advice is that if you do have a problem with sugar, is that you actually just go cold turkey. You'll have some cravings for a couple of days, but then after that, you'll have none. It's amazing how your body doesn't even want the sugar after it's no longer having it. If you want to use a sugar alternative, one of my favorites is stevia. So stevia is the leaf of a green plant, and it happens to be very sweet. The key with stevia is to use less. So if you put too much stevia into something, it will actually taste quite bitter. So start with a very small amount and then add more as you need. And stevia has 0 calories and it's not artificial, it's natural. When you're getting stevia, make sure that you don't get a processed brand. make sure that you're actually getting whole green leaf stevia. Another great choice is raw unpasteurized honey or pure maple syrup. And another favorite is also xylitol. But my recommendation is to actually just forget about having sugar altogether. So sometimes people don't even realize how much sugar they're consuming. Oftentimes when I'm working with patients, they'll say to me, well, I don't really eat sugar. And I'll say, well, let me take a look at your 5-day diet diary. And so when I look at it, I see that they're eating a lot of processed packaged foods. And I tell them that there's a lot of hidden sugars in these processed foods. And to help them to understand and to picture how much sugar they're actually eating, I help them to memorize a little math equation. So 4 grams of sugar is equal to 1 teaspoon of sugar. So if you're consuming a little thing of yogurt and it says that it has 20 grams of sugar in that package, that's the equivalent of 5 teaspoons of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. Some of the most popular drinks at Starbucks on average, a grande caramel macchiato or a grande green tea latte, have about 40 grams of sugar. So that is 10 teaspoons of sugar. Now, can you imagine going in and getting a regular coffee and adding 10 teaspoons of sugar to that? That would be horrifyingly sweet, but that's actually how much you're consuming. If you're having problems getting rid of sugar, one of the best things that you can do is add something called L-glutamine into your regular daily regime. So you can either add a scoop of it, it's a tasteless powder, and it's an amino acid. And what it does is it helps to really balance blood sugar levels. It's also great because it reduces lactic acid. So if you're working out and getting sore, it's going to help with sore muscles. And it also helps with digestion. So adding it into your daily smoothie is one way to really help to balance your blood sugar and to get off the sugar. Another way to use it is if you're having a lot of cravings, what you can do is mix half a teaspoon of glutamine powder into a couple ounces of water, swish it around in your mouth for about 15 seconds, and then swallow it. And that will immediately squash any sugar cravings, which is great. The next thing we're going to talk about is increasing protein. This is really important for nutrition. A lot of people are not getting enough protein in their diet, and they're also not consuming the right kind of protein. So protein throughout the day will really help to decrease food cravings. If you're someone that's having a lot of problems at night, so dinner's finished and you sit down to relax, read a book or watch a show, and that's when you're having some fierce cravings, it's likely that you haven't had enough protein throughout the day. So having protein consistently through the day will really help to balance blood sugar levels. It also helps to sustain your daily energy. So if you're getting tired in the afternoon, then having protein at every meal will really help to increase your energy. It also helps to boost your metabolism. What a great bonus. Just by having protein in the morning, you'll actually increase your metabolism by 35%. And your goal is to have about 20 grams of protein at every meal. Now, not all protein is created equally. So definitely the best forms of protein will be found in something like a vegan smoothie. So vegan smoothies are not whey protein. Whey protein is actually derived from dairy. So a vegan protein is going to be derived from brown rice, pea, or hemp protein. Organic eggs are another great choice. Organic grass-fed beef, organic poultry, chicken and turkey, wild fish, legumes if you're a vegan or vegetarian, and nuts and seeds. So these are all the best forms of protein. Having these things regularly throughout the day can transform your energy, your metabolism, and get rid of those cravings. And over-consuming protein is not a great thing either. So the body can actually only absorb about 50 grams of protein at any one time. So if you're like my husband and you want to go to the keg and have a 24-ounce prime rib, which no, he doesn't because I won't let him, over consuming protein in one setting will just turn to fat. So if you have more than 50 grams of protein in one setting, it will just, you won't use the protein, it will just turn into fat. So there's no point in doing that. One of the biggest questions that I get from patients is, how much protein should I be having? Well, that's a very individual answer. But to give you a bit of a guideline, what you want to do is you want to multiply your weight by 0.4 if you are sedentary. So if you're not active at all, if you have a desk job and then you come home at night and you're not doing much and you're sitting around, or maybe you have an injury or a chronic health condition, then what you need to do is consume your weight multiplied by 0.4, and that will give you your daily grams of protein. If you are active, so you are walking, you're getting around 10,000 steps in a day, you have maybe an active job, then what you want to do is take your full weight and multiply it by 0.5, and that will give you your protein for the day. And if you're very active, if you're doing lots of exercise, if you're working out in a fitness regime or boot camp or anything like that, then you want to take your weight and multiply it by 0.6. So there, of course, there's going to be some variations in that, but those are the general goals. So one of the best things that you can do in regards to nutrition is to start your day with a smoothie. And this is absolutely crucial in my life. I know for me, if I skip my smoothie, my whole day gets messed up. I find myself wanting foods that I don't normally eat, my energy is low, and everything is off. So every day I have a smoothie. And so this little chart shows you how to make a smoothie for yourself in the morning. So you want to start by picking a fluid. So you can pick 1 to 2 cups or any of these combinations. So an unsweetened nut milk or an unsweetened coconut milk, water, or even coconut water. Stay away from juices because those are going to have a lot of calories and sugar in them. Next thing you want to throw into your blender is greens. So you can pick 1 or more. I personally like spinach, and when you're having spinach in a smoothie, I promise you, you can't even taste it. It will definitely change the color of your smoothie, but you will not be able to taste it. I generally do a couple of handfuls, so my blender is pretty packed with spinach. You can also use things like baby kale, Swiss chard, beet greens, or collard greens, depending on what's in season. Of course, people want to add in fruit. Now, the goal is to not have a purely fruit smoothie, which is what a lot of people are doing. A lot of people will wake up and have a smoothie with banana and strawberries and blueberries and milk and yogurt and think that they're doing their bodies a favor, but they're actually not. That's way too much sugar to process in one setting. So with fruit, you really want to limit yourself to 1 cup of fruit max in your smoothie. And the best fruits that you can use are berries. Sticking with fruits that are grown in this region. So apples, pears, peaches, depending on the season, are also really great. If you do not need to lose weight, then you could put a banana in. If you are trying to lose weight, then I recommend not having a banana, as they're just too high in sugar. You're also going to want to add in some good fats. So 1 to 2 tablespoons total. So great choices are things like hemp hearts, chia seeds, ground flax seeds, avocado, coconut oil, flaxseed oil, or a nut butter. So what I do is I buy chia, hemp, and ground flax, and I mix it all together in one big bag and keep that in my freezer. And every day when I make my smoothie, I take 2 tablespoons of that concoction and put it in, and it absolutely tastes great. And then a superfood is recommended. One of my favorite things is a product called Pure Lean. So Pure Lean is a vegan protein powder, and it's available online at my store on drkobe.com/online store. And it's also available in my clinic. So it's a vegan protein powder that also doubles as a multivitamin. So it's got tons of vitamins and minerals in there. It also has some green coffee bean extract, which is helpful for metabolism. It has some omega-3 fatty acids, and it also has antioxidants, and it tastes great. Our patients absolutely love Pure Lean. Other superfoods that you can add in are things like bee pollen, which is great for energy and allergies. maca powder, which is a green powder. It does have a bit of a bitter taste to it, but you get quite used to it quickly. It's very energizing and helpful for hormones. A greens powder, so that's a concentrated green powder that often has things like chlorella and chlorophyll and wheatgrass and spirulina in it. My favorite is the Paleo Greens from the online store at drkobe.com. I love this product. It literally has no taste to it. My problem in the past with greens powders is that they definitely have a strong taste, and I was finding that they kind of ruined my precious, delicious smoothie. So what I did is I found this product, and I've been so happy with it. So it's from a company called Designs for Health, and it's called Paleo Unflavored Greens product. And you just put a teaspoon of it into your smoothie, and it's like having a truckload of fruits and vegetables. Cinnamon is a great thing to add into your smoothie for blood sugar balancing. Ginger is great for metabolism and circulation. And then raw cacao powder. So the cacao bean is an antioxidant. It's very energizing, and it has tons of vitamins and minerals in it. It has a mild chocolate flavor, so that's a great thing to add into a vanilla shake if you want to make it a little chocolatey. So probably one of the best things you can do is to start your day with a smoothie, and that will ensure that you're getting that protein in the morning, that you're balancing your blood sugar for the rest of the day, and that you're getting a lot of superfoods. It kind of sets the stage for the day. We have to remember that whenever we eat, it's a biochemical message. So every time you choose a food, it's telling your body what is going to happen later. So if you're consuming an empty carb, you are surely setting yourself up for sugar cravings down the road. But if you're having clean, lean proteins and superfoods and antioxidants, your blood sugar is going to be balanced, your mood will be balanced, your energy will be balanced. So just replacing your cereal or your toast in the morning with a smoothie is a great way to optimize your nutrition. The third step is to prioritize nutrition and plan ahead. Menu planning is actually key. Honestly, there is nothing worse than coming home from work at 5 or 6 o'clock and thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, what am I going to make for dinner? And looking in the pantry, the fridge, and realizing you don't even have enough to throw together a meal. And that's when bad decisions come in, because often people are tired, they're hungry, and then they're going to reach for something that is convenient, quick, and definitely not all that nutritious. So planning ahead is crucial. What I love to do is I have 2 days of the week where I really focus on nutrition, Sundays and Wednesdays. And Sundays I do the brunt of it. So I'll get all of my groceries done. I know what I'm having for the week, and I make sure that I have all of the ingredients, and it just takes the guesswork out. So some of the things you can do ahead of time are things like boiling a dozen eggs and having them in the refrigerator for the week. Having a couple of those as a snack or as a protein on a salad for lunch is a quick and convenient way to get some extra protein in. Cooking 8 chicken breasts at a time. So I'll just lay out a whole bunch of chicken breasts on a cookie pan and bake them in my oven and slice them up and maybe freeze half of them. And this is a great thing to have on hand, because when you come home, you can always throw together a salad or a stir fry. And if you have the chicken on hand, then this is great. If you're vegan, then you want to have a good assortment of legumes on hand for those protein choices. And you want to make sure that you have maybe about 3 or 4 meal ideas for the week. It doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be gourmet. It can be really simple, but as long as you have those ideas, then you're going to be successful. So chopping up vegetables and storing them in individual containers. I've got some great vegetable containers, and so what I like to do is chop up my raw veggies for the week and have them in there, and then when I'm making lunches, I can literally just grab a handful of those with some hummus, grab one of those chicken breasts, and my lunch is packed. Plan ahead for salad, so wash a head of lettuce and chop it up. And my favorite thing to do is utilizing the crock pot. So we definitely have a couple of days in our family in the week where things are really busy at night. So those are the days that I'm going to use my crock pot. So I will either the night before or in the morning throw everything in. And that's the thing with crock pots is you can't really mess it up. You just throw whatever's in there, whether you're making a soup or a stew or a casserole, you just throw all the ingredients in, turn it on low, and by the time you get home, I'm telling you, I get so happy on crock pot days. Walk into my house and know that everything is done. Literally all I need to do is scoop it into a bowl and everybody's happy. So make sure you stay tuned until the end of this webinar because I'm going to give you a great bonus gift of a free 1-week healthy menu plan. So what you're going to receive is the menu plan, the recipes, and a done for you grocery list. So I really want to show you how easy it can be if you're prepared to eat healthy. It doesn't have to be hard. And I definitely will agree that the world is set up for convenience. But once you put a few steps into your life on a regular basis, then you'll find it so much easier. So the next thing we want to move on to is digestion. So how to quickly eliminate the top digestive symptoms. I would say some of the top symptoms would include heartburn and reflux, excessive gas and bloating, sluggish digestion like constipation, or irritated digestion like loose stools and diarrhea. So in my practice, I would say at least half of the patients that come in definitely have a digestive issue. And I love treating digestion. I find it actually very easy and quite rewarding. I have patients that come in that literally know where every bathroom is in the town that they live because they have such irritation in their GI tract that they're having multiple loose bowel movements throughout the day. Or people that are complaining that they are so bloated by the end of the day that their pants don't even fit. Or that they're embarrassed by the amount of gas that they have. Or that they have to sleep sitting up or raise their beds up because their heartburn and reflux is so bad. So step number 1 to eliminate these digestive issues quickly is to stimulate your digestion. So the thing that you want to do is get some apple cider vinegar. So apple cider vinegar is a great, easy thing that you can do to get things going and to enhance proper digestion. So start by consuming 1 tablespoon of raw, unpasteurized apple cider in some water about 10 to 15 minutes before a meal. One of the things that I'll tell my patients that are suffering from reflux and heartburn is when you're having those symptoms, if you consume a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and your symptoms get better, so you feel that burning and that uncomfortable sensation, have a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and it actually gets better, then that means that you actually don't have enough stomach acid. And we need to get the mechanisms that produce acid in your stomach turned back on properly. Very rarely will someone do this and actually their symptoms will become worse. In fact, it's only 5% of the time that that actually happens. So if you do this and that does happen and your symptoms become worse, then what you want to do is take a teaspoon of baking soda, mix it with some water and drink it, and immediately the burning will subside. But 95% of the time, people's symptoms actually get better because most people don't have enough stomach acid. As we age, our ability to produce stomach acid declines. If you have food allergies, if you're over consuming sugar, if you have too much stress in your life, or you're on certain medications, then you're not producing enough acid. So our stomach is supposed to have this burbling cauldron of battery acid that our food will drop into, and that acid will help to break down the protein components in our food. But if you don't have that stomach acid happening, or if you're on medication to take that stomach acid away, then the food is basically dropping into a pit of vinegar, and that's not going to do very much. So by taking apple cider vinegar, it will actually help your body to become more balanced. And it also contains some really important enzymes and promotes the growth of beneficial good bacteria. The next thing you want to do is to support your digestion. So by taking a broad spectrum digestive enzyme, this will actually help your body to break down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. My two favorites are GI Digest and BPP enzymes, and these are both available on my online store. GI Digest is a vegan digestive enzyme, and it has an enzyme in there to digest dairy, gluten, protein, fats, carbs. So it is absolutely great. That's actually something that I take every single day just to support my digestive system. When you're taking digestive enzymes, the thing that you want to take them for is if you have any excess gas or bloating, this will help to reduce and eliminate that very quickly. And you can't become dependent upon enzymes, which is great. By taking the enzymes, it will actually help your body to remember to produce its own enzymes. So it's a very healing thing to do for your digestive system. My other favorite product is called BPP enzymes. And this is similar to GI Digest, but it also has the addition of betaine. So betaine is called hydrochloric acid, and that's actually what's already in our stomach. So by taking extra betaine, that will really help to digest proteins in particular. So if you're having excess gas, then taking the BPP enzymes with each main meal will really help to take that away. So when you're taking an enzyme, you want to take it at the beginning of your meal and with each main meal. So if you're just having a snack, then you don't need to take it then, but at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's the goal. And the third step is to repopulate your digestion. So we need enough beneficial bacteria in our guts to help to fight off all sorts of microbes that are coming in through our foods, to boost up our immune system, and to enhance our overall digestion. So by taking a probiotic on a daily basis, this is going to help to increase the beneficial bacteria in your digestive tract. And this is really foundational to digestion. My favorite one is Ultraflora Balance. Now, in my practice, we have about 7 different kinds of probiotics. But if you're looking for a great general probiotic, something to start with, Ultraflora Balance is definitely the way to go. So it's not all about the number of billions of strains in there. Sometimes people will get enamored and think, well, this product has 50 billion and this product has 100 billion. But by taking a product that has too high of bacteria in it, it can actually cause gas, bloating, and digestive upset. So starting with a more balancing product like Ultraflora Balance will really help you to get the benefit from the beneficial bacteria. So when you're taking probiotics, the goal is to take them without food. And so make sure that you're not eating probably 30 to 45 minutes after you've taken it, or that you haven't eaten for 2 hours. So what I recommend is to take it right before bed or first thing in the morning. And this product, Ultraflora Balance, needs to stay in the fridge to remain active. So probiotics really help to stabilize bowel movements, improve your overall digestion, boost the immune system, and decrease food allergy reactions. So if you're getting frequent colds and you kind of feel run down and like you're catching everything that's going around, or you go out for a meal and you just don't feel good after eating restaurant food, then repopulating your digestive tract with good and probiotics is really going to help to stop some of those issues. The last thing on how to quickly eliminate your top digestive symptoms is to eliminate your food triggers. This is absolutely key, and this is something that I really focus on with my patients. So when you're having digestive issues, chances are, I'd say probably in 9 out of 10 cases, that there is a food that is triggering all of your issues. Oftentimes when a patient comes in and they present with gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, whatever it might be, the first thing that I want to do is do an elimination diet and do a food allergy test. So what I do is a food allergy test called an IgG ELISA food allergy panel. So it's a blood test, and it helps to test for 95 different foods. It tests your body's immune response to these foods. So these reactions are called delayed onset reactions. And the reactions can happen anywhere from 30 minutes and up to 4 days after you've been exposed to the food. So it's actually really hard to figure these out on your own, because you could be sitting here today with an upset stomach and thinking, what did I eat this morning? But it could actually have been something you ate 4 days ago. Usually people are eating a food that they're sensitive to on a regular basis, and they have a chronic health problem as a result of it. And these allergies extend beyond the digestive system. So people will also come with symptoms like headaches, skin conditions, joint pain, depression, anxiety, energy issues, even autoimmune conditions. So really important to figure out if you have any food allergies. And the other thing we do is what's called an elimination diet. So this is a process by where 21 days, we take this period of time and we remove all of the top known culprits. So there's 7 known food triggers, and these include gluten, dairy, eggs, soy, corn, sugar, and peanuts. And these top 7 triggers have been known to cause all sorts of digestive issues. So for a period of 21 days, we remove these foods and just eat really simple to digest foods and allow the digestive system to have a holiday from having to process all of these hard to digest foods, allow it to heal and rest. And then after the 21-day period, we reintroduce the foods one at a time, 3 days apart. And this really helps to show if there's any issues that are happening in the digestive tract in regards to these foods. So that's a great place to start. Next, we're going to move on to how to discover your roadblocks to weight loss. So obtaining and maintaining a healthy weight is key to optimal health. Many people try to lose weight, and despite all of their best efforts, often the scale doesn't budge a pound. I have countless examples of patients that come in and they're eating really well and they're exercising on a regular basis, but no matter what they do, they cannot lose weight. And it's not like they've only been at this for a week. I have patients that come in and for a year, they've been really good with their nutrition, really good with their exercise regime, and they cannot lose weight. So I wrote a book called The Ultimate Metabolic Plan, and this was dedicated to this group of patients. So it helps to discover your own individual roadblocks to weight loss. So I found that there are 7 underlying causes of what I call weight loss resistance. So weight loss resistance happens when, despite your best efforts, you cannot lose weight. So I'm not talking about people that are eating really poorly and are not exercising, because that is an obvious cause of weight loss resistance. These things are happening in people that are doing all the right stuff and not getting any results. Number 1 is an underactive thyroid. And we're going to talk about that in how to heal your hormones naturally in a few minutes. So an underactive thyroid is definitely one of the top reasons for weight loss resistance. The thyroid commonly goes out of balance during perimenopause, menopause, and after giving birth. So if you're having a hard time with your weight and you're in one of those areas of your life, then getting the proper thyroid testing, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, is really important. The adrenal dysfunction. So the adrenal glands are 2 little glands that sit on top of our kidneys, and they produce hormones in response to stress. And so one of the main hormones that they produce is cortisol. So if your cortisol is too high or too low, that will prevent you from losing weight. Cortisol is a fat storage hormone. So if you produce too much of it, you will actually start gaining weight in your midsection. We have more cortisol receptors in our abdominal area than anywhere else in the body. So you'll hear people say, oh my gosh, I went through such a stressful period and I gained 10 pounds all around my midsection. Well, that actually does happen. And if you don't have enough cortisol, then your metabolism will be very sluggish. So cortisol needs to be in what I call the Goldilocks position. It has to be just right in order for our metabolism to be working properly. Food allergies are another big cause of weight loss resistance. Oftentimes, I will run a food allergy test on someone, and maybe they're allergic to something like eggs, as an example. And the only thing they do in their diet is remove their allergen. I'm not also putting them on any calorie restricted diet or anything like that. The first thing we always want to do is just remove the allergen and see how the body responds. And very often people will lose dramatic amounts of weight. I can think of a patient that I had not too long ago, and she actually was allergic to eggs. All we did was take out the eggs, and within about 2 months, she lost 23 pounds. And it was just amazing for her, because what happens with these food allergies is that your body is producing a layer of inflammation. And this inflammation presents as weight. And so when you find out what you're sensitive to and you go off of it, that layer of inflammation literally is shed from the body. Hormone imbalances are another big cause of weight loss resistance, especially for men and women over the age of 45 or 50. So what happens with women is as they go into menopause, their progesterone and estrogen can become dramatically out of balance, and this can cause issues. And in perimenopause, for women who have what's called estrogen dominance, when their estrogen goes too high compared to their progesterone, this can cause a lot of weight gain in the body. For men, what happens is they actually start losing their testosterone as they age. And by the time they're around 50 years old, they'll experience what's called andropause. And andropause is the male menopause equivalent to female menopause. And when testosterone is too low, it's really hard to gain muscle, and men will find themselves gaining more and more fat, especially around the midsection. The fifth cause of weight loss resistance is insulin resistance. So insulin is a hormone, and under the right circumstances, our insulin can become resistant. And what that means is that it is a hormone that drives sugar into the cell so that the cell can utilize it. But if the insulin can't get the sugar into the cell, then the sugar will just circulate the body, end up being stored in the liver or being stored as fat. And this is probably one of the leading issues for weight loss resistance. And this comes on as a result of other hormone issues. Of course, our diet plays a major factor in insulin resistance, but even stress can trigger insulin resistance. So that's really an important cause. Number 6 is candida overgrowth. So candida is a common yeast that can often overgrow in the body. It happens so often that I actually wrote a book that's been a #1 bestseller on Amazon for a couple of years, and it's called The Ultimate Candida Guide and Cookbook. And it actually takes you through and shows you how to get rid of excess yeast in your body. So when you have an overgrowth of yeast in your body, it comes on as weight because it disrupts hormones, it slows the metabolism, it affects our digestive system. So often what's needed is a candida detox. We have to get rid of this infection, and then the metabolism just totally heals itself. And the 7th thing is liver toxicity. So the liver is absolutely important when it comes to metabolism. It is the main filter in our body, and it's responsible for detoxifying everything that we're getting exposed to. So fatty liver has become more and more common. That's something that used to only happen in people that drank heavily, alcoholics. And now we're seeing fatty liver more so in everyday people, people that don't even drink alcohol at all. And it's happening because of sugar. So the sugar is causing the liver to become fatty. And when you have a fatty liver, when there's fat surrounding the liver, the function of the liver gets compromised and the metabolism greatly slows down. So discovering your roadblocks to weight loss resistance is really important. And when we go through our whole health online wellness program in detail starting April 24th, we are going to go through each of these 7 things in great detail. There's questionnaires and tests that are going to be done to help you to figure out which roadblock you have. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the top 5 tips to balance your hormones naturally. The first thing that I recommend if you're having any issues with your hormones is to get tested. So issues can include things like depression, weight gain, fatigue, anxiety, any menopausal symptoms like hot flashes, night sweats, hair loss, decreased libido, and things like PMS, insomnia, and so much more. So the first thing you need to do is get tested. I would say our comprehensive male and female hormone panel in the clinic that we run is probably the most popular test that I do in practice. It's so amazing, especially for women when they get their results, because it's very affirming. So it shows them that their symptoms are not all in their head. You know, oftentimes we're just trying to like pull ourselves together and get our act together and come on, you used to be better than this. And we have all this negative talk that goes on in our minds. But oftentimes there's a hormone imbalance that's actually preventing us from being the best versions of ourselves. So the test that I run in my practice is a combination of blood and saliva. The blood portion will test all 4 of the thyroid hormones, which includes TSH, free T4, free T3, and the thyroid antibodies. So we're actually looking for autoimmune issues related to the thyroid and all of the hormones involved. The testing in Canada is really antiquated. And so when you do this test, it leaves no stone left unturned. You can actually finally have your true answer as to whether or not you have a thyroid issue. So if you are having a lot of symptoms of thyroid issue, yet you've had testing done and your doctor has said to you that your thyroid is fine, that there's no problems, you really need to listen to your body. You're the one that's inside of your body. You know what feels normal for you and what doesn't feel normal for you. And so if you're having symptoms and you've read somewhere and that you really relate to the thyroid symptoms, then I really recommend that you get the proper testing. The saliva portion of this test will test your adrenal hormones, so cortisol and DHEA. And the testing is actually done at 4 points over the course of 1 day. So we test your levels in the morning, at lunchtime, at dinner time, and at bedtime. So cortisol will fluctuate through the day, and it should, but we want to make sure that there isn't any issues at any point in the day and that your body is following its normal, healthy circadian rhythm. Also tested through the saliva is progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. So this test is like a 5-page story of your own individual hormone issues and what can be done about it. Definitely worthwhile if you're having any issues. The second tip to balance your hormones naturally is to detox the liver. So the liver is responsible for excess hormone elimination from our body. So when we have hormone imbalances, the liver has to take care of all those imbalances by detoxification. And as your body is continuously exposed to a whole host of different environmental and dietary toxins, the liver can no longer properly cleanse. So in our environment today, we are constantly getting exposed to things that people 50 years ago were not getting exposed to. And so we have to really take care of our liver. The buildup of toxin can actually lead to conditions such as estrogen dominance, fibroids, ovarian cysts, PMS symptoms, and hormone-related acne and other skin conditions. So the liver is really important that we pay attention to. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to love your liver. So you can start the day with half of a lemon squeezed into 1 cup of warm water. And this will really help to stimulate the liver's ability to detoxify, and it will stimulate all of your digestive organs. You want to make sure you're consuming half your body weight in ounces of filtered water daily. So if you are 150 pounds, then the goal for you would be to drink 75 ounces of filtered water every day. Now, if you're not drinking very much water now, I recommend that you slowly, week by week, move up to that amount. You don't want to go from drinking 1 glass to 10 glasses overnight, because that can actually be too much of an adjustment for your body. It's really important to increase your fiber consumption, and the goal is 35 grams per day, and this helps to assist in the elimination of certain toxins from the body. So the liver really needs extra help, and fiber can offer quite assistance. So consume some liver cleansing herbs on a daily basis, such as things like beets, bitter greens, apples, lemons, garlic, onions, cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, kale, collard greens, and cauliflower. So if you were to choose something from this list or a few things from this list on a daily basis, that will actually really help your liver to detox properly. There are nutrients in these foods that help with liver detoxification. Sometimes it's great to actually use liver cleansing herbs and nutrients to give your liver an extra boost. So if you're experiencing any of the liver toxicity symptoms like fatigue, skin conditions, digestive issues, joint pain, sluggish digestion, then taking some extra support is very helpful. One of my favorite products is called BioLive X, and that's available at my online store. And it has a whole bunch of different herbs and nutrients in there to really help to facilitate detoxification. And of course, we want to stop putting toxins into our body so that the liver has a fighting chance. So avoiding toxic foods such as sugar, processed foods, refined carbs, pesticides, hydrogenated fats, and artificial sugars. And choosing high fiber foods on a daily basis, like ground flaxseed, for example, just by putting in a couple tablespoons of ground flax can really help your liver to detox. Tip number 3 is to eliminate xenoestrogens. So we are talking about hormone balancing right now. And xenoestrogens are man-made synthetic compounds that are very similar to our body's own estrogen. In fact, they are so close in similarity that our body just readily accepts these compounds in. And the accumulation of these xenoestrogens can lead to many hormonal imbalances, especially something called estrogen dominance. So where are these things found? They're actually lurking in our environment everywhere. It's estimated that by the time the average woman leaves her home for work in the morning, that she's been exposed to up to 300 chemicals, most of which are hormone disruptors. So that is just crazy to think of, that by the time we leave for work or we get ready for our day or whatever we're doing for our day, we've already been exposed to hundreds of chemicals. And these chemicals, the reason that they use these xenoestrogens is that they help to stabilize the product. They prolong the shelf life. And so manufacturers will often use these things. But the thing is that they really affect our body negatively. I would say one of the worst culprits is plastic water bottles. So sometimes when I'm doing a hormone test on a patient, they come back with really high estrogen. And I think to myself, oh my goodness, like there's no possible way that that's just happening in the body. There has to be some type of outside source. And so I'll ask the patient, are you consuming water from plastic water bottles? And they'll say, yes, you know, I have like 6 or 7 a day. And oh my goodness. So we eliminate the water bottle completely. I get them on a stainless steel water bottle with filtered water and retest their levels in a few months. And sure enough, their estrogen has totally regulated. So big culprit there. So some tips to make sure that you're not getting overexposed to these xenoestrogens are to go natural. So sometimes after hearing this information, some people will want to go home with a garbage bag and just dump everything into it. And other people will replace things one at a time. And every choice that you make counts. So you don't have to do 100% or 0%. Even if you just start by replacing some things, less exposure is better. No exposure is best, but less is still better. So things like nail polish, perfumes, hairsprays, anti-aging creams, and lotions, these are loaded with things like formaldehyde and parabens that have estrogen-like effects in the body. So we're literally like putting these fake estrogens onto our body, and it's getting absorbed through our skin. It's estimated that 70% of what we put onto our skin goes into every single organ in our body within 26 seconds. So just because we're not consuming it through our mouth doesn't mean it's not getting into our bloodstream. Another place we're getting exposed to these harmful estrogens is in harmful cleaning chemicals. So the things that you're cleaning your house with, of course, are chemical based, and they have xenoestrogens in them. So they are throwing your hormones out of balance. There's many great natural cleaning things that you can do. One of my favorite things is a company called Norwex. And this is actually a company that their slogan is cleaning without chemicals. And so that's a great way to get started on not having any chemicals in your home. And going organic to limit the exposure of xenoestrogens through pesticides and hormone residue. So even just starting with a few things will be helpful. Like I said, remember, less is more, and it doesn't have to be all. And adding in 2 tablespoons of ground flax every day will actually target harmful estrogens and help to expel them from the body. And it's been shown that by consuming 2 tablespoons of ground flax a day can greatly reduce estrogen-related cancers by as much as 70%. So during the Whole Health online wellness program, we are going to go room by room, and I'm going to teach you what to do instead of what you're currently doing. I'm going to show you how to have a chemical-free home. I'm going to tell you what to use instead of the things that you're using now in order to lessen your exposure to these harmful chemicals that are really ruining our health. The 4th tip on how to balance your hormones naturally is to heal your adrenals. So earlier I mentioned that the adrenal glands are 2 little glands that sit on top of your kidneys, and they are responsible for producing the hormones we need in order to respond to stress. So adrenal fatigue is something that is happening more and more to people. In fact, I see it all the time in my practice. So what adrenal fatigue is that your body is compromised. Your adrenals are compromised. Imagine that you have a full-time job and you can barely get your work done and you are feeling so exhausted. And then your boss comes and just piles more and more and more work on, and you think to yourself, I just can't get it all done. Well, that's exactly what's happening to the adrenals. The adrenal glands don't differentiate between types of stress. They just know stress. So whether you are skipping a meal, having arguments with family members, getting exposed to xenoestrogens, in some type of chronic pain, the adrenals will respond to all of those things by producing cortisol. And over a long period of time, if you are always under stress and your body's always producing cortisol, your adrenal glands are going to get burnt out just like you do. And so then they're going to not produce enough cortisol. And then you're going to be in what's called adrenal fatigue. And stress is going to seem like it is way more than it used to be. You're going to start feeling quite overwhelmed and anxious. So the first thing you can do to make sure that doesn't happen or to heal from that is to de-stress your life. This is honestly the most important step that you can do in all aspects of your life. And if this is the only takeaway that you get from this, then that is great. So what you want to do is create a list that shows you how much stress there is in your life. So you want to identify your stress. Sit down and thoughtfully write out all of the different things that are stressing you. Maybe there's a list for home and there's a list for work, and maybe there's a list for family. Maybe you just have one list. It might take you 5 minutes or a whole week to do this list, but write it all down. Once you have your list done, then you really want to look at this list and ask yourself, what on here can I change? Make some changes. If you're feeling burnt out, you really have to ask yourself, how did I get here in the first place? And is how you spend your day how you want to spend your days? So is your current life what you envision for your future life? And if it's not, then you need to make some changes. So the adrenal glands will directly affect hormone function. So whether you have high or low cortisol, this is going to affect other hormones in your body. It can start affecting your thyroid function, your progesterone, your estrogen, your testosterone, and your insulin. So remember how I was talking about insulin resistance being one of the causes of weight loss resistance? Well, this is it right here. Your stress can wreak havoc even on your insulin. And stress is implicated in almost all disease. It's actually estimated that 70 to 90% of all visits to primary care physicians are related to stress. So that's what we're seeing in practice every single day, is so much stress. You need to have an outlet for your stress. So something that is uniquely yours, something you enjoy doing. Maybe it's exercise, maybe it's something creative, maybe it's art or dance. But an outlet is absolutely necessary on a regular basis. And decreasing dietary stressors will really help your adrenal glands to heal and bounce back from burnout. So the top 5 dietary stressors when it comes to your adrenal glands are gluten, sugar, alcohol, excess caffeine, and dairy. So by reducing these things, your body will be able to heal a lot better. There's some really great herbs and nutrients that can help as well. Herbs such as licorice root, ashwagandha, rolora, and rhodiola. Probably one of my favorite products is Adrenomend. So Adrenomend has all of these different herbs and nutrients in it, and it really helps to nourish the adrenal glands. So if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and you just can't keep up, by taking some of these tips and making some lifestyle changes and starting to supplement with Adrenomend, that will really start helping to improve your life. There's some supportive nutrients that are really great as well. So a stress B complex, that will really help to nourish the adrenal glands and the nervous system. Vitamin C is the primary nutrient for adrenal gland health. Vitamin D3 and magnesium, also very important in adrenal function, in proper adrenal function. And I think one of the best things you can do is to sort of look through your life and see if you need to mend any fences. So harboring feelings of unforgiveness actually causes the body to become very acidic. And excess acidity has been implicated in many health conditions and hormone dysfunction and even cancer. So if you are holding on to grudges, if you're holding on to unforgiveness in your life, then you really need to make it a practice of letting go. Sometimes you just have to convince yourself on a daily basis that you're forgiving someone, and eventually it will feel like it's true. It's not always a quick overnight practice. Sometimes it takes a lot of time to get there. But even just by taking some of these steps, it's really going to help to transform your health. The 5th step is to heal your thyroid. So hypothyroid or underactive thyroid function is often linked with adrenal fatigue, estrogen dominance, and progesterone deficiency. And a dysfunctional thyroid can actually affect almost every aspect of health. It's one of the most underdiagnosed hormone imbalances, also together with estrogen dominance and metabolic syndrome. So it's estimated that about 35% of people are wandering around with low thyroid function and they don't even know it. So I touched on the testing earlier, but I want to reiterate it, that proper testing is crucial. If you are having any symptoms of low thyroid, so the symptoms include feeling cold, like inability to warm up, hair loss, the outer third of your eyebrows are gone, your skin is dry, your hair is coarse, you cannot lose weight. In fact, you're eating even better and you're gaining weight. You are tired, and tired all day. Like there's no hills and valleys, you just feel tired all day long. If you're depressed, constipated, if you have aches and pains, anxiety, that can be because your thyroid's out of balance. So it's really important to rule that in or rule that out. So the proper testing will include TSH, free T4, free T3, and thyroid antibodies. Oftentimes, people are struggling with a condition called Hashimoto's. And Hashimoto's is autoimmune thyroiditis. So what's happening is your body is actually attacking your thyroid gland. And it doesn't always show up in testing until the thyroid is completely destroyed. And that's why I always test the thyroid antibodies to see if there's any possibility of Hashimoto's going on. because catching it early can actually help to stop it from progressing, which is totally life-changing. When it comes to your thyroid, you want to make sure that you identify and eliminate all food allergies. So if you do have a thyroid issue, you want to make sure that you are not eating foods that are contributing to thyroid inflammation or the autoimmune thyroid destruction of the thyroid. Gluten is something that is definitely implicated with thyroid issues. So I recommend a gluten-free diet for people that have thyroid issues and getting the proper allergy testing to make sure that you're not eating anything that's preventing you from getting better. And before you start on any thyroid medication, or if you are on medication and you're not getting better, it might be because your adrenal glands are not healthy. So I often will first treat adrenal gland dysfunction before boosting the thyroid at all. It's crucial to have properly balanced cortisol levels in order for the thyroid to function well. Some of the best nutrients that you can take to get your thyroid more balanced and working well is tyrosine, iodine, copper, selenium, zinc, vitamin A, and vitamin D3. And iodine is a little bit of a controversial one. So if you have Hashimoto's or autoimmune thyroid disease, then iodine may or may not be the best choice for you. That's why it's really important to get testing done first to really figure out what's going on in your hormones. So we have learned how to optimize your nutrition in 3 easy steps, how to quickly eliminate the top digestive symptoms, how to discover your roadblocks to weight loss, and the top 5 tips to balance your hormones naturally. So on April 24th, I am launching the Whole Health Online Wellness Program. And this really is a detailed journey on jump-starting your health. We are gonna go through digestion, hormones, weight loss, nutrition. I'm gonna guide you through and help you to detox from sugar. I'm gonna show you how you can dine out without sabotaging yourself. We're gonna go through every aspect of health. You're going to get webinars on a weekly basis, handouts, ongoing support in a private Facebook group. It's literally like working with me on a one-on-one basis, but we're gonna do it in a group format. And so I wanted to offer you guys an introductory rate for signing up for my webinar. So the price of the program is $397, and it is a 4-week program. And I'm offering an introductory rate of $247. So that's a savings of $150, which I'm so excited about. It is my mission to help people to heal naturally. I really see so many people struggling with their health, and I know that if they make some changes, they can feel so much better. I have helped thousands and thousands of patients in my one-on-one practice, and I want to expand my boundaries and help more and more people to feel better. So sign up for my Whole Health Online Wellness Program. Use the discount code WHOLEHEALTH, and you will save $150. That begins April 24th. Other ways that you can get more information is to sign up for my free monthly newsletter. You can access my Dr. Kobe online store. You can watch Dr. Kobe TV on my website, which is www.drkobe.com, drkobi.com. You can follow me on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can sign up for the Whole Health Online Program. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you learned a lot tonight.